So that's something that we'll be talking about when we do get into the second lobby for today. But before that, we have to finish off our first lobby, and it is the A and B lobby for game number 6. We'll go jumping into World's Edge once again for the final time and see how that one does play out. Obviously, the two teams toward the top end, Chicken Sandwich Daewoo United, are the ones to watch in terms of taking the lobby away. But Moist Esports, can I just mention, have jumped their way back up into 6th. They were down in 11th or 10th at one point. So if they have a good finish here as well, they could still maybe take a 3rd or a 4th, something like that. Would be not a bad shout, I think.
Yeah,
considering the way the day's gone.
Well, considering how the points work in these lobbies, generally you have like maybe a top 5 that are sort of significantly ahead. Sometimes with the first place team very, very ahead. But then when you're sort of down to that bottom 10, like one good game absolutely will jump you up a lot of spots and really help you out in terms of those split standings as far as, how many points you get out of that, which of course is just completely dependent on where you finish in this particular lobby. So, yeah, the difference between like getting 3rd, which I think is, I don't know, something like 19 split standing points, I think, and coming 10th, where you're only picking up, maybe like 10, something like that. I'd have to go back and look at the score sheet exactly. It's a big difference, right?
Big difference indeed. Now, to start off game number 6, haven't really seen too much of an early engagement. We, expect to see that on World's Edge, on Storm Point. We did have a little bit of a contest over Fish Farm, but here on World's Edge, it looks like most of the players have kind of got themselves locked down in fairly comfortable territory. Again, you have those couple of teams up towards Skyhawk, but not really running into one another, as tends to be the case. Skyhawk can handle a couple of teams.
Yeah, I mean, Thermal Station can also handle a couple of teams, and I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit sad, a little bit rough for a team like Dugu Play, who, like, we just haven't had anything pull in that area, right? No staging, no harvester, no Thermal Station, no lower fissure. It's all a little bit random, and I don't want anyone, thinking that it's just how it goes this split or something. It's just a low sample size means, it is going to favor teams in some quadrants over others. And I've got to say, if you're in the southwestern quadrant, unfortunately in split 1 here, it has been a rough time for you.
Yep. Once again, we're going to go down to southeast by the looks of it. Basically, directly south of Lava Siphon, maybe a little bit of the dome still inside of the second zone, and launch site the bottom edge of it as well. So, a bit to play with for those teams that have gone from Lava Siphon. It has got a beacon, obviously, and anyone that's rotated through there is going to get some really, really early info and set themselves up quite nicely, which is exactly what Moist have done. Good Riddance, working their way past Landslide, are actually right behind Homogird. I'm not sure that they will run into one another, though, because it does look like Homogird is just going to make their way through the tunnel without too many problems. They had to jump over that electric fence. So that took them a little bit of extra time, but in the end, they got away relatively comfortably. And Moist, it's happened to me again. Jaro, not of Moist, formerly of Moist. Moist Jaro, not of Moist, of Good Riddance, has spotted out that electric fence and decided, you know what, we'll actually go through the train tunnel instead, and make a bit of a different rotate, just in case there was a world where Hermagod was camping that tunnel.
Yep. Classic debates there. Meanwhile, as you can see here in Lava Siphon, EXO continuing to camp out that middle building as we've seen them do before. This time, however, it's going to be a little bit more hotly contested. And you can see Daewoo, they're up the top. They're just going to go for a couple of the smaller buildings. Actually, no, even rotating even further. Maybe they'll look to play the bridge somewhere around there.
We should head that way.
Lots of options still.
Even the vault tunnel? I guess, look, they're pinging in the vault tunnel at the moment. I'm wondering if that's, it's when you've got a Watson on your team, that does seem like a much more viable kind of spot. There are some really good spots for the gen in there where it's hard to get griefed, at least if you know which sides you're being pressured from. And then obviously the narrow tunnels do lend themselves to, setting up a lot of good fences in there. So I can see why that's something they're thinking about, but And just sitting in the open for the moment. A little bit of indecision from Daywai here. They've been pretty good on picking their spots today. And they obviously need to do very well with picking their spots here in this last match if they want to get over the top of Chicken Sandwich, because I think right from the first game where both of these teams did quite well, it's been looking like it's going to be one or the other who'll pick up the full 25 points at the end of this first series.
And it really has been pretty much tit for tat. Did they both win 2 games as well today? I feel like they both have.
Could be
if I'm
right.
remembering rightly. So, either way, besides the point, it doesn't really matter. They're sitting quite far and away at the top of the lobby amongst each other. The other issue for Daewoo is coming into this one, obviously 11 points down. It means you pretty much have to have a perfect game, and you also then kind of have to go through your opponent. Doesn't really play too well. Team Up have eliminated Stinky B, no problems at all. That EVA 8 really being put to good use.
Your recollection is very good as usual, Elfish. They've both won 2 games as well as got a second each.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, just really sticking in that top 3 for both of these teams is why we're seeing some very impressive scores out of both of them. To go along with those kill totals, 18 is certainly something to be proud of.
And if I'm not incorrect, then does that mean Daewoo United have not actually dropped outside of the top 3 either? Because I thought they also had a third. So
Yes. Yep, you are.
yeah, that's insane. Actually,
God,
as far as
this man's
consistency
memory.
is concerned. Well, I mean, ask me next week and I will not remember a thing. But that's just how it is sometimes. Either way, look, yeah, Daewoo United. I think they'd be pretty disappointed to be sitting in second with a record like that today. Like, you'd have to look at that and say, we've got 2 firsts, a second, and a third. What do we actually have to do to win this lobby beyond that?
I don't know, Matt. Sounds like the Popo are pulling up at your place, and
They are going past.
well, I don't know. Maybe they're on their way to try and stop some of these monster performances by Chicken Sandwich.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe some of the players are nearby. It's a crime. It's a crime how well they're doing today.
It is. And I'm kind of excited to see if that's going to get converted into the second lobby as well. But obviously a discussion point for a little bit later on in the evening. Truth Esports does get eliminated really early on in this round. Not a very good sign for them, because they were trying to hold on to some positions inside the top 5, and they may very well fall out of that and miss out on a couple of crucial points. Also, not to mention, that's another kill point in the hand of Tanner. I don't know if Player K and Strafing Flame picked up one apiece as well there, but every point the Chicken Sandwich gets here is an extra point that Daewoo also has to collect. So this makes that job a little bit more difficult, and maybe a little too difficult at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they'd need their own, monster 18 kill kind of game, right, to get there. That's why we said at the start of this one, Chicken Sandwich looks like they've got it locked in. Daewoo, honestly, they've got, 10, 11 points over MDY starting out in this one. So, look, MDY have actually a decent spot sitting at the back, as we can see here, of launch site. So that's, that's solid. But that one could just depend on where we get this circle shift right, and it's actually, as our observers are showing us now, is going north. So, oof, that's a tricky one. That is a tricky one.
That's a painful zone, isn't it?
Well, I'm trying to remember if I can't remember if there's zones that finish sort of in that little sort of to the northwest of the vault tunnel. So it's almost making me wonder if it's gonna just like shift hard north from there and go up towards where, say, GQ are. But, yeah, look, we'll keep our eyes trained on that one, perhaps. Look, man, I don't know, man. Maybe Daewoo have been doing some work on their zones, because, as we keep saying, it seems like they have just nailed it game after game so far today.
It is definitely one thing to call the zone, but it's also another to play this zone out. I think the position that Daewoo is in is still a very scary one to play from. It's low ground, there's cliffs up above, there's lots of angles all around you, so it's nice to be there, I suppose, but
it's one of those situations where you're happy to have Easy Flash on your team, right? Because, like, how do you play a spot like that? You have to show so much presence. You have to be doing lots of damage so that people don't want to peek you, because they're not going to be taking good trades, and they're going to be wasting their meds doing that. So if they can get Easy Flash into a position, and I can tell you he's got a 4.8 on his longbow right now. He's got 120 ammo on that longbow. That's the guy you need popping off and just trying to make sure that he's dissuading anyone from getting too close to this. As you say, it could be a precarious position, but only if there's enough people holding multiple angles on you.
Yep, something to consider for sure. Northside Esport as well, a little worse for wear. Emil down to 1 HP, at least has a couple of points of armor to work with, but Killmeat also low. Nuku down on the floor. This fight that they have taken has really not gone the way that they would want it to. Missile Swarm to try and buy some space, but just, I mean, look at the situation they've got themselves in. MDY on one side, Moist on the other. I don't see Northside getting out of this one particularly well.
MDY pushing up now towards Northside. As you say, they go down almost immediately there. Kilmate, can he get out of this one? Not at all. But MDY was a clean fight win, I think, on the back of the damage they'd done earlier than that. So luckily, they can turn around and have a look at Dugu play. Right below them. They're the only two left in launch side at this point. I mean, I guess Moist is sort of on the outskirts there. You can just see them peeking into view. They're within the circle there on that sort of north platform. And MT is keeping his, unfortunately, the 1X holo on his scout trained on the teams behind him in the launch side.
Well, talked about some good shots coming through from Easy Flash, and that will continue. Circle's looking really good for them as well.
Bastion,
they are dead center.
He's igniting them with that thermite here, and oh, Easy Flash, the nice angle on top of him here. I don't know, yeah, good riddance. Once again, go down early, and they're really struggling to find a place to play here in Group A versus B. The teams just seem to be collapsing on all sides of them. Doesn't matter where they go, how they rotate. It's not been their day.
No, certainly not. Oh well. I'll have another couple of cracks at it. It is only week 3. Why? Gonna get some shots down southward. But they have bigger fish to fry. They're gonna have to move north, and if they do that, they're gonna run through Moist. So I'd sort of rather see them turn their attention toward that.
MDY still holding that southern position, not worrying too much about their rotation just yet. Still in a bit of a push and pull with Dugu play over the other side of some of this lava. And if they go any further, we could have a 3-way Chinese fight here with 2 MK1 pad also looking on top. Zhao Kai helping to crack and then down Buso Sei here. So Dugu play getting caught in the middle of both of their compatriots here. Will they get out? I Kill Only Noob just gets a bat off as they try and pull down, but they're below Moist now, so I'm not sure this position is any better for them. And MDY still on the hunt.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the zone's on the hunt behind them as well, so they are going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on here. And there's just so many teams in this area of the map. You can't expect this is going to go well for all of them. Something's going to have to crack. Someone's going to have to break. This is the nature of a zone like this. There's not a whole lot of cover. There's not a whole lot of buildings. So you're going to get a lot of edge-based play. You're going to get a lot of teams that are out in the open or really hanging on by a sliver. Dugu play was one of them. They'll go down pretty quickly. Moist Esports have actually got probably the best cover of any of the teams in this area of the map, and they'll try to take advantage of that. Pricey loses his armor, but Waltzy dropping one of the MDY members, keeping Moist well in control of this area of the zone.
Moist looking good. Team Up is watching them closely though, and they've they haven't really taken any hits so far, any casualties. They've also got the EMP available. So if we see them push up any further, this could be a problem. They haven't popped it just yet. Interesting. Oh, does manage to catch one with the thermite there. And then another couple of shots here from the Crypto coming through. So Moisture on the retreat. They're back inside. You can see they're having to worry about the black hole outside as well. MDY have got back their full 3 members off the back of this Elfish.
Yeah, 505 under pressure. SIY does get eliminated at the back end of it. 505 still surviving for the moment. So back over to Moist Esports, who still managing to keep themselves in control of this building. This little nook, I guess it's really just a corner, but round the back, there goes one member waltzing down, Pricey down. They all fall. It's like once one goes down, the waterfall does just swamp on through. There's an EMP over the top to T-Mop. Still going to have to deal with yet another team. Xiao Kai falling straight away. It's just Aimbot who, with the Horizon, is going to be able to get out of there on the zipline, but I'm not sure for how long that is going to last. There's players in front of him, players behind him. Arcstars as well.
I mean, talking about waterfalls, it was just a waterfall of bullets from MDY as soon as that fight finished up. They were so happy to see that happen. To let Moist Esports, unfortunately, get shoved into that corner and then taken out. And then it was theirs for the taking, really, after that. Now, the circle shift, as we're watching here, is going into that sort of dead zone to the southeast of Lava Siphon. And you can see it's going to cause a lot of problems, right? Hermagerd trying to play their way out of this building. They're up against MDY White. It's Dud versus Bunny Hop, really, but GQ, I imagine, are probably going to be able to pick up both of the kills because they've got R301s and everything else they really need just popping on the side there. That said, they lose Big Boss on the road. Say, I don't know if he's going to be able to get back into the circle in time. He doesn't. Hermagerd survives for about half a second until Chicken Sandwich pop on them. And they've noticed that GQ have taken a little bit too much damage in that fight, so they'll come in and polish it off.
Well, you're really going to have to keep your eyes on this kill feed and kind of see how many kills this Chicken Sandwich picking up and how's Daewoo United going. Daewoo is still alive, but just don't know if it's going to be possible to catch Chicken Sandwich at this point. They are putting numbers on the board right now. And, you know, even though Daewoo has ripped through a few teams, like they've just eliminated a Manuel, they have to get rid of Chicken Sandwich if they want to top this lobby, and they would probably have to do it right now. Like, execute them, take out all of those potential placement points, and then go on to sort of sweep through the rest of the teams, get all of those kill points, and the placement points for coming first to be able to overtake Chicken Sandwich. I think it might be too far gone now for Daewoo United.
I think it might be as well, because Chicken Sandwich picked up a good number of kills, and they're looking like they can do more with grenades. That's their grenades. They're just popping in and demolishing Onyx Esports here, who are trying to hold it down. They won't for very long. EXO have got their eyes trained on it. So did Daewoo. Here's their opportunity to eliminate the competition. As you say, it may be too late, but it may not be too late for them to finish this final match.
Yeah, Chicken Sandwich need to get that res pretty quick smart. And Daewoo United is right on their backs. Do they know? Do they know this is Chicken Sandwich? Well, they're going to need to take them down one way or the other. Panna gets knocked, and that RE45 has been put to work. Chicken Sandwich eliminated, and with that, maybe there's a sliver of hope for Daewoo United. They would have to clean house in the rest of this lobby and win all their fights if they were even to think about topping this lobby. But maybe it's still possible. Maybe there is enough points.
5 kills for them at the moment, and there are only, 8 left alive, left in the lobby for them to grab as far as KP goes. A tiny bit of this caravan, I believe, is going to be in the next zone, so as long as that pylon stays up, you can see it's active there in the window. Grenades, although they would usually be pretty effective against a team shoved into that tiny little space, the pylon will keep them safe just for the moment. Daewoo with fighting everybody off from that position in the middle like they did at Barometer not too long ago as well. They're all on reds, and there's 3 squads left. 505, they've been flying under the radar a little bit, but it's the drone coming out from VC that is now coming up and hoping to EMP these last 2 teams. Potentially that's a third party that they can look to take, and they use the EMP to force this fight, Elfish.
Daewoo United, they could be between a bit of a rock and a hard place here if 505 decide to head in their direction. I mean, EXO also on the outskirts, but they're playing a little more edge than Daewoo is. Daewoo's trying to control the center of the zone. They've lost a member. The res came through, and then the knock straight away after. It's not going to be the Cinderella story today for Daewoo United. Easy Flash is the last alive. It's a battle between EXO and 505 for the win in this game. And again, like I've said, I think that means that Daewoo United will not get enough done to overtake Chicken Sandwich. 505 will have the easiest victory of their lives. Easy flash in a 1-on-3. And slowly but surely, he'll get whittled down, slapped in the face. And 505 walk away with the final victory in the A and B lobby.
The spear comes out, the celebratory skyward dive. As you said, it was a really easy finish there.